Imagine, imagine you're a doctor, but instead of sitting in a quiet white office with a stethoscope around your neck.
Which is, what you'd expect.
Right, exactly. But instead of that, your ambulance is a giant fire-breathing dragon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is definitely not your standard trip to the clinic.
No, not at all. And instead of a patient with like a normal sore throat, your very first patient of the day is a unicorn with a splitting headache.
I mean, you'd need a completely different set of rules for that.
Oh.
And a very, very special team to handle that kind of wild, magical medicine.
You really would. And that is exactly what we are exploring today. Welcome to a very special, highly animated deep dive.
Yes.
Today's mission is all about answering one big question, which is what makes a true healer? And to figure that out, we're diving headfirst into this wonderful, magical adventure story called Zog and the Flying Doctors by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler.
And we actually want to make a quick announcement right at the top here.
Oh, right, yeah.
If you're listening to this right now and there are any kids nearby, maybe they're playing on the rug or sitting in the backseat of the car, grab them, pull them in close. This deep dive is built perfectly for you to enjoy right alongside them.
Yeah, and hey, if you are listening solo while, I don't know, folding laundry or driving to work, that is totally fine too.
For sure.
Just get ready to bring out your own inner child because we are going to have an absolute blast today. We're following the ultimate medical dream team as they soar through the sky, cure some incredibly wacky diseases, and basically prove to everybody that you can be absolutely anything you want to be.
So true. Let's start by looking at this medical team because their lineup is just brilliant.
It really is.
It's three best friends, and they each bring a completely different skill to the table. First, you have Princess Pearl. And she is the brain of the operation.
Right. She's the one reading the books.
Exactly. She reads the books, she diagnoses the tricky illnesses, and she knows exactly which medicines to give out.
She's the one who looks at a magical creature and says, "Ah, I know what to do."
No.
Then you have her partner, Gadabout the Great. And here is the best part. Gadabout is a knight.
A literal knight.
Like a sword-swinging, armor-wearing knight. But he doesn't fight dragons. He uses his super steady hands, the kind you need to hold a heavy shield or a lance, to perform delicate operations.
It is such a clever way to repurpose a knight's skills. But of course, a doctor and a knight can't just walk everywhere if they want to help people quickly.
Oh, no way. It'd take forever.
Right, they need an ambulance.
Yeah.
And that is where the third member of our team comes in, Zog.
Yes, Zog is a dragon, and let me tell you, Zog is a fantastic flyer. He stretches out his big wings, catches the wind, and he can soar high above the clouds to get Pearl and Gadabout exactly where they need to go.
However, and this is a big however, while Zog's flying is majestic, his landings are a completely different story.
Oh man, his landings are a total disaster.
Yeah, they really are.
He just hasn't figured out the brakes yet. Ask the kids in the room right now to imagine a big, clumsy, super lovable puppy running on a slippery floor.
Oh, that's the perfect way to picture it.
You know how the puppy trips over its own giant paws and just kind of slides into the couch?
Yeah.
That is Zog trying to land. Every single time they arrive at a patient to help them, it sounds exactly like this. Bang!
Crash.
Yeah.
Just a huge pile of dragon, knight, and princess tumbling right onto the grass.
It's so funny. But you know what the absolute best part of this is? Princess Pearl and Gadabout never get mad at him. Like, never.
Which is actually the very first lesson in what makes a true healer. Patience and empathy.
Oh, totally.
Pearl and Gadabout know Zog is doing his absolute best. They know they couldn't reach these patients without his help. So instead of yelling at him for being clumsy, they just, dust the dirt off their clothes, make sure he's okay, and get right to work.
Because they have a lot of work to do. Let's talk about their very first patient. So they are flying high in the sky, and they look down and see a mermaid.
But this mermaid isn't splashing happily in the waves.
No, she is sitting on a rock, wailing and crying.
So down goes the dragon ambulance. Bang. Crash. Thump.
And when they walk up to her, they see the problem right away. Her skin is bright, tomato red. Her scaly tail is swishing back and forth because she is incredibly uncomfortable.
She has a terrible sunburn.
Ouch.
Yeah, and think about why that happens. The sun sends down these invisible rays of light that warm us up, but if you sit out on a rock all day with no protection, those rays actually burn the top layer of your skin.
Right, and a mermaid is used to the cool, shady water.
Exactly. Sitting on a sun-baked rock is a total recipe for disaster.
So Pearl jumps into action. She doesn't just say, oh, well, go back in the water. She reaches into her bag and rubs a special soothing cream all over the mermaid's bright red skin.
Which helps immediately.
Right. But she doesn't stop there, which is why Pearl is such a genius doctor. What does she give her next?
She gives the mermaid a hat to wear. And this is such a great concept to explain to kids.
It really is.
Pearl isn't just fixing the hurt that is already there. She is making sure the hurt doesn't happen again tomorrow. I mean, a doctor's job isn't just to hand out bandages.
Right, it's preventative.
Yes. It's to help you figure out how to stay healthy in the first place. So a hat casts a nice, cool shadow over the mermaid's face, blocking those invisible sun rays.
It's so smart. So the mermaid waves goodbye, feeling much better, and the flying doctors speed away into the sky again. And it isn't long before they spot their next patient.
A beautiful unicorn.
But this poor unicorn is pawing at the dirt, looking super annoyed.
Because he has a very strange, very unwanted problem. He has grown a second horn, like an extra one.
Now, if you ask a kid, having 2 unicorn horns might sound awesome at first, like double the magic.
Right, sounds cool in theory.
But think about it practically. How on earth do you put on a bicycle helmet with 2 giant horns sticking out of your head?
You couldn't.
Or imagine trying to pull your favorite cozy sweater over your head. You'd get stuck.
It would be incredibly frustrating. And this is where Gadabout the Great really shines.
Yes, the knight.
Remember, he's the knight with the steady hands. He steps right up, pulls out a very small, very safe tool, and with a gentle touch, he simply cuts the annoying extra horn right off.
And the unicorn is thrilled. He probably goes right back to galloping through the forest without getting his head stuck in tree branches. So off our heroes fly again.
Now, so far, the doctors have been working in the bright, warm sunshine. But a true healer has to be ready for any environment.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the weather starts to turn, the wind howls, and our team hears a loud, sad sneeze coming from below.
So they dive down, bang, crash, thump, and find a giant lion sitting in a dark cave. And he has caught a nasty flu.
Oh.
His nose is running, his throat hurts, and he is roaring for help.
And Pearl immediately steps up and gives the lion a medicine pill to help fight the flea bugs. But she gives him a very serious piece of medical advice.
What does she tell him?
She tells the lion, you have to keep warm.
Which is totally true.
Yep.
Hey, kids, when you get sick, do your parents ever wrap you up in a big, cozy blanket on the couch?
I'm sure they do.
That's not just because blankets are nice. Your body needs all of its energy to fight off the gross germs inside of you. If you are freezing cold, your body has to waste all its energy just trying to stop you from shivering.
Exactly. You need your environment to do the warming for you.
Yeah.
But the lion has a major problem here. He lives in a cave made of cold stone, and there is a chilly storm blowing outside.
Yeah, a blanket isn't going to be enough here.
Not at all. So who is going to heat up a giant stone cave in the middle of a storm?
Well, look to the dragon. Zog steps up to the plate. He munches on some food to get his energy up, takes a deep breath, and whoosh.
Wow.
He breathes out massive, bright orange flames until a beautiful, crackling fire is burning right there in the cave.
And just look at what Zog does here. I mean, usually in fairy tales, a dragon breathing fire is supposed to be scary.
Whoa, totally. They burn down villages.
Exactly. It's supposed to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But Zog flips that entirely upside down. He uses his fire as a tool for comfort. He uses it to heal.
I love that. So the lion roars a huge, warm thank you, feeling toasty and sleepy. And our heroes fly off into the storm, feeling like absolute champions.
As they should.
They cured a mermaid, a unicorn, and a lion. They are unstoppable. But as evening falls, they see a great big palace down below, and Princess Pearl looks down and says, hey, that's my uncle's house, the king. Let's go say hello.
And this is where the story takes a really sharp turn.
Yeah, it gets tense.
Because you would think a king would be thrilled to see his niece traveling around helping people.
Ah.
So Zog does his classic bang, crash, thump landing in the palace courtyard.
But the king is not happy. In fact, he is furious. He comes stomping out and yells, you naughty thing, where have you been? You look an awful mess.
You're just completely rude.
He completely ignores the dragon and the knight. He just looks at Pearl and demands to know why she isn't wearing a frilly dress or a shiny crown.
And when Pearl very politely explains, Uncle, I'm a doctor now, I help people, the king drops a shockingly grumpy line.
What does he say?
He points his finger and says, princesses can't be doctors, silly girl.
What? Okay, let's just pause right here because that is the silliest thing I have ever heard.
It really is.
Think about how backward that is. telling a brilliant, helpful doctor that she isn't allowed to heal sick people just because she holds the title of princess.
Right.
That is exactly like looking at a bird and saying, you aren't allowed to fly because you have blue feathers instead of red ones.
It makes zero logical sense. The king is just completely stuck in the past. He has this rigid, stubborn rule in his head that princesses only do two things: sit in towers and look pretty.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
The idea that a princess could be out in the mud wiping a sneezing lion's nose completely breaks his brain.
But unfortunately, the king is the boss of the castle. He orders his guards to grab Pearl and lock her up inside the palace.
And it's a terribly sad moment. I mean, Pearl stomps her feet, she storms around, she cries in fury, but she is trapped.
Poor Pearl.
The king forces her to spend week after week doing what he thinks are proper activities for a princess.
Oh.
She has to sit in a room sewing silly little cushions and arranging flowers in vases.
Which is such a waste of her big brain. Meanwhile, Zog and Gadabout try everything to rescue her, but the palace walls are just too thick. Every night they fly up to her windowsill just to visit her, feeling completely defeated.
But stories have a funny way of balancing things out.
They really do.
The king thought he had everything under control by locking Pearl away. But his stubborn behavior is about to backfire in the biggest, most spectacular way possible.
Yes. One dark night, Pearl leans out her window and whispers to Zog and Gadabout, "My uncle has fallen terribly ill."
Oh boy.
And this is not just a normal sniffle like the lion head. This is a very weird, very scary mystery sickness.
So the king's head is throbbing. His arms and legs feel as weak as jelly.
He has a croaky voice like a frog, making it super hard for him to speak.
But wait, it gets crazier. The most shocking symptom of all. The king's skin has turned bright orange.
Bright orange, like a giant, grumpy walking pumpkin.
Imagine the panic in that castle.
Or a traffic cone. I
Yeah.
mean, I have heard of the flu. I have heard of chicken pox, but turning into a citrus fruit.
It completely baffles the palace doctors. The king calls in a new, fancy doctor every single day. He croaks out, "What is this illness?" But none of them know. They just scratch their heads and walk away.
But Princess Pearl isn't confused because she actually reads medical books. She remembers reading about these exact symptoms.
She knows exactly what it is.
She tells Zog and Gadabout, "It looks like orange fever." And because she is a true doctor, she knows the exact magic recipe to cure it.
So she leans out the window and gives her friends a very specific and wildly unusual shopping list.
Okay, listener, you have to hear this list. To cure orange fever, you need the grated horn of a unicorn, a mighty lion sneeze, some mermaid scales, a little slime from a sea snail, and half a pound of cheese.
She tells them they have to be incredibly quick because the king is fading fast. Now, I want to pause and look really closely at that crazy list of ingredients. The horn, the sneeze, the scales, the slime.
It's an impossible scavenger hunt.
Totally impossible.
If you had to fly around the world trying to find a random wild lion and say, "Excuse me, can you sneeze in this jar?" It would take you months.
Exactly. And that is the secret genius of this story. Zog and Gadabout don't have to search for random wild animals. They already know a unicorn, a lion, and a mermaid.
Oh my gosh, they're former patients.
Yes. The only reason they can gather these incredibly rare magical ingredients so fast is because they were so kind to those creatures earlier.
Wow, that's amazing.
They fly back to the unicorn, who is thrilled to hand over the extra horn Gadabout cut off. They fly to the lion's cave, and he happily sneezes into their jar. The mermaid gladly gives them some shiny scales and asks her sea snail friends to donate a little squirt of slime.
It is the ultimate proof that kindness travels in a circle.
Right.
When you go out of your way to help people when they are hurting, they're going to remember that.
They really will.
And they will jump at the chance to help you when you are the one in trouble. It's brilliant.
It really is. It shows that a good doctor doesn't just leave a patient behind. They build a community of care.
Okay, I love the community of care, but I have to stop you. We are skipping over the absolute weirdest ingredient on that list. Half a pound of cheese. You don't get cheese from a magical sea snail. What is the medical science there? Is cheese actually a magic potion, or does Princess Pearl just know that cheese makes absolutely everything taste better?
Well, if we want to try and be scientific about magical medicine, we could hypothesize that the dairy proteins in the cheese act as a necessary binding agent.
A binding agent.
Yeah, I mean, you have slippery slime, dry grated horn, and a sneeze, which is mostly air and water. You need a thick, heavy base, like a good sharp cheddar, to hold all those volatile magical elements together so the king can actually swallow it.
I reject your science. I am
Okay.
fully going with the taste theory. Kids, listen to me. Nobody, not even a king, wants to eat a plain jar of lion boogers and snail slime.
I mean, fair point.
That sounds disgusting. You have to mix a giant hunk of delicious cheese in there just to mask the flavor?
You might be right. Either way, the clock is ticking. Zog has been flying all night. His wings are aching. He is completely exhausted, but he refuses to give up on his friends.
The ultimate ambulance.
He pushes his tired dragon body to the absolute limit, flying as fast as he can through the night sky, rushing back to the king's castle.
Which brings us to the grand finale. Zog spots the king's bedroom windowsill. He comes in hot. And for the final time in our story,
Bang.
crash.
The thump.
The clumsiest, most beautiful landing yet. Pearl is waiting for them. She grabs the scales, the slime, the sneeze, and the horn.
She brings them into the room, grates the horn into fine little pieces, and mashes it all together with that giant block of cheese.
She tiptoes over to her uncle's bed. The king is lying there looking like a weak, sad little orange balloon.
Poor guy.
Pearl holds up a big spoon and says, "Now open wide." And this, right here, is where the magic recipe goes to work. This is the 3-spoonful cure.
Let's track the progress. Spoonful number 1 goes in. Almost instantly, the king's drooping head lifts up. The jelly-like weakness in his arms and legs completely vanishes. He feels his strength rushing back.
Spoonful number 2. He swallows the cheese and slime, and boom, the orange color drains right out of his face.
Wow.
His skin goes right back to its normal, regular color. He isn't a pumpkin anymore.
And then she feeds him spoonful number 3. And the result is spectacular.
The king jumps completely out of bed. I just want everyone listening, adults and kids, to close your eyes and picture this hilarious image.
Yes, picture this.
The super strict, super grumpy king, who just 5 minutes ago was yelling about purple princess dresses, is now doing a massive, joyful, happy dance right there in the middle of his bedroom in his pajamas. He is spinning and leaping with delight.
It is a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. But more importantly, it is a moment of profound realization.
Yeah, everything changes here.
The king stops dancing, looks at his niece, the girl he locked in a tower for wanting to heal people, and his entire stubborn mindset shatters.
He looks at her and says, "Princesses can be doctors. You are absolutely right."
He realizes that true capability, bravery, and compassion have absolutely nothing to do with whether you wear a crown or a frilly dress.
Exactly.
Pearl didn't win this argument by yelling back at him. She won it by simply doing her job. She used her massive brain and her kind heart to save his life.
Yes. The king apologizes for being such a grumpy jerk. He tells her she is free to go. And in the biggest twist of all, he looks at her, he looks at the night, and he even looks at the giant, clumsy, fire-breathing dragon who just smashed into his windowsill, and he invites the whole crew back to the castle to have tea with him whenever they want.
It shows that even the most stubborn people can change their minds when they're shown undeniable kindness and skill.
"Hooray!" cries Pearl. She grabs her medical bag, runs out the door, and jumps onto Zog's back with Gadabout. And the story leaves us with this incredibly gorgeous picture. The flying doctor's crew, a princess, a knight, and a dragon speeding off together into the sunset, ready to find their very next patient.
It perfectly answers the question we asked at the beginning. What makes a true healer? It isn't just about handing out pills in a white office.
Not at all.
It's Gadabout's brave, steady hands. It's Zog's endless, exhausted determination to carry his friends. It's Pearl's massive brain and her refusal to let anyone tell her what she can or cannot be.
It takes all of it. Believing in your own big dreams, even when grumpy kings tell you no, and always, always helping people along the way. That is the magic formula that wins the day.
Every single time.
All right, as we wrap up this wild, wonderful adventure, we want to leave you with a fun little imagination game.
Oh, this is a good one.
Whether you are driving in the car right now or you're sitting with your kids on the couch, I want you to turn to each other and answer this question. If you were Princess Pearl and you had to invent your very own magic medicine to cure a silly sickness like orange fever, what gross, funny, or totally weird ingredients would you mix together in your bowl?
Would you use a cup of dinosaur drool? A handful of sparkling moon dust? 3 tiny tickles from a centipede?
How about the sweat from a jogging hippopotamus? You can get as weird as you want, but whatever you do, do not forget to include half a pound of cheese.
A vital ingredient, clearly.
Always include the cheese. You know, sometimes the world gets messy, sometimes people get sunburns or grow extra horns or turn bright orange.
It happens.
And when that happens, you don't just need a regular doctor. You need a little bit of magic, a whole mountain of teamwork, and the courage to be exactly who you want to be, even if it means making a few bang, crash, thump landings along the way. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Now go mix up some magic potions.